talk about establishing legislation, creating legislation and policies, the main objective of the regulator should be to prevent the negative impact that gaming could have in the citizens or in the country. And that's where the main objective and the main effort should be done when we are creating a regulation to prevent it. Education is really important. When we talk about education, we're talking about making sure that operators know what they are supposed to comply with, what their obligations are, what expectations are from the regulator based on the requirements of the obligations established in those legislation and regulation. Treatment. Basically, when we talk about treatment, we talk about the parts of the regulation that are going to address the harmful or the negative impact that gaming may have anyway, even if you do a great job on the prevention and education side. And that's when we talk about the treatment for responsible gaming, for problem gambling. That's where we talk about, for example, in other areas, forensic investigations, when there's a malfunction in the field, etc. No? Enforcement basically empowers the regulator to be able to comply, to make the operators and make the stakeholders comply with the regulation. And that's when we talk about the parts of the regulation that goes regarding the fines, the suspension of license. Basically, it's a consequence of not complying with regulation. Operations is extremely important that regulators understand the operation process of the operators themselves. So the regulations are effective, are drafted and effective in that regard. And finally, research. It's extremely important, especially when regulations are implemented and legislations are several years in the process. It's important that there's a lot of research done to find out if those regulations or legislations are really effective, if they are really generating the effect that we were expecting by creating those regulations, and if they are not, changes need to be made, and they need to be adapted to what the results are of those research.
Well, at the homologation and certification level, I mentioned some of the requirements. Actually, maybe the question or the comment came before that, but it's definitely there's definitely technical tools and technology tools and ways to make sure that whoever is registering or accessing these platforms are not underage gamblers, or underage gaming. But it needs to be established at the regulation and the technical standard level. So that's why in an unregulated market or in an illegal market, there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. That's why legalization and regulation is important, and best practices are replicated in all the jurisdictions, including Brazil in the future when the regulation is issued. So there is definitely the way to prevent underage gambling. Now, you also mentioned something about the universities and how they can be part of the process. I think that was a question, no?
Like if the universities here in Brazil, they have how they can help to improve this certification.
The certification process. But really, the audit of the certification process is done by laboratories, by certification laboratories. Maybe I should have started saying that we are a certification laboratory, but I was so focused on consumer protection and responsible gambling that I forgot to say that. So, and definitely, when there's an homologation process established by legislation in the country, there's also a process for the regulator to accredit or authorize certification laboratories. So that will need to be part of the legislation, of the regulation here in Brazil. There needs to be a process, there need to be requirements that the companies will need to comply with, especially in the part of the experience. Of course, it's important when you're talking about the market so big. But for example, in our case, in case of GLI, in Argentina, our laboratory, GLI South America, is an association between GLI and the University of La Plata, which is a very respected university in Argentina. So that's an example of how we work with universities in any case. Actually, our laboratory in Australia was also at the beginning an association between GLI and the University of South Australia. It's not anymore, but it used to be like that. You know? But definitely it's about technical competency, it's about having the tools and the individuals that are capable to do testing. It's about making sure that also laboratories, we didn't talk about licensing in this panel, but I'm sure it was addressed in other panels before. Licensing is very important, it's crucial. Somebody raised a concern about how the information is protected, how the intellectual property is protected and the technology that is behind all these games and platforms is protected when they come to the laboratory. It's because we have processes in place to guarantee that. We have insurance policy that covers loss for malpractice, for example. So if something happens, we are able to respond economically for that. So when you have a process of accreditation for laboratories, you need to consider all that. There's financial resources that the people behind the operation and the people behind the ownership are not criminals, are not part of any type of operation either. We need to be independent. We need to be completely independent of the operation and the suppliers, no? To be a laboratory, and such more requirements that needs to be complied to guarantee that the technology and the product that is put in our hands is not going to leak out, and it's not going to be provided outside of our rules.